Welcome to Care Less with Carly, the podcast for people who are done playing by their roles. I'm your host, Carly Lynn, and each week we'll cut through the noise with real talk, bold conversation, and expert insights to help you trade perfection for purpose and live life on your own terms. Hi, friends. Welcome to today's episode of Care Less with Carly. I'm sitting here in the studio live with Eli Wininger. Welcome. Eli is a friend of mine from USC and truly a Renaissance man. Eli has served in the IDF. He has run ultra marathons, Ironman races. He completed a 251-mile race in Moab, and now he is focused on helping people live happier, healthier lives. So take us back. You went from IDF soldier to yoga certification, health coaching. How does that happen? Take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, so I grew up in LA. My mom was always pretty healthy. I was raised very healthy house. I quit drinking sodas and eating candy at the age of 13, just on my own. So I'd always been very health-minded. Grew up playing super competitive soccer. Also grew up in a very, very Zionistic home. My grandpa is a Holocaust survivor. On my mom's side, my whole family escaped religious persecution from Tunisia.
Wow.
So grew up very, very Zionistic from that.
Sounds like there are a lot of influences, early influences, both in health and your
Totally,
connection,
100%. Yeah, 100%. So when I went to USC, the plan was to join the IDF before that, and my parents convinced me out of it.
Okay. Had anybody done that in your family, or that was just you felt
Well,
connected?
my mom, once her family escaped Tunisia, she had been raised in Israel. So she was in the military. My uncles were in the military in Israel. They're more Israeli than they are Tunisian or French or anything. So a lot of friends and family did that. I had friends a year or two above me in high school that had also joined the IDF. And my community in LA in general was very Israeli, so I knew a few people that had done it.
And you felt a calling.
And I definitely felt a calling, yeah. Okay. Ended up not doing it, went to USC, started, studying business, and that made me feel, I just went through the route, joined a fraternity. It was a Jewish fraternity, shout out API. And Elon Carr one time heard me speak, and I didn't mention API, and he's the former director. So shout out Elon Carr, shout out API. He told me I have to mention every time. So during my time at USC, it was I think my junior year, the Israel-Gaza war broke out, the first one in 2014. And I felt very helpless, even though I was running campaigns and doing advocacy and posting on social media and doing everything. I felt like I wasn't doing enough, and I could have done more. And I'd already started a nonprofit relating to hearing aids and children in India and helping with hearing impairment there. So I knew that helping others was really true to my heart, and I loved doing that. So I wanted to go and I wanted to do more, and clearly Israel was so important to me. So for me, it was, what can I do that's more than what I'm doing now? And I decided I'm not going to spend my senior year going to get a job. I'm going to start the process of enlisting in the IDF. I'm not going to drop out of college, but I said, when I graduate college, I'm going to go and I'm going to move to Israel, and I'm going to join the IDF and do my part. And the logic was everything my grandpa had been through, everything my family had been through. If I can donate, sacrifice, commit, whatever you want to call it, 3 years of my life for something so much bigger than myself, and to make sure that that never happens again, then it's beyond worth it. And I would grow so much in the process as well. It's not like you're just canceling and deleting 3 years. It's a huge growth moment.
Did you face resistance when you made that decision?
Oh, yeah. My parents didn't want me to do it because no one wants their son to join a combat unit in the military. They're scared. My mom said, you can still help Israel, go use your accounting and finance degrees to go and, join a big pro-Israel or Jewish nonprofit, and you can still give back to the community that way. And for me, I just knew if I wasn't on the ground physically helping, it wouldn't have felt the same. I wanted to be there. I wanted to connect more to my Jewish and Israel roots and heritage, which I've always felt so strongly to every time I visited Israel every few years. But I needed something to connect me more. And for me, that was it.
I'm curious if you could talk about that feeling of what you would have felt if you hadn't gone.
Totally. Some of the best decisions in my life have all been triggered by that kind of mindset. A mix of going against the grain, but also what can I do that, you look forward 5, 10, 15, 20 years and see what your life could look like. And generally down like the normal rat race or down just the cookie cutter route, assess both. And you can be like, what if I didn't do that? What would my life look like? Would I regret it? And same with the IDF. You know, I didn't join after high school and the war broke out, and I highly regretted not being able to help more. And I could only think and sit and imagine there. It's like, imagine if another 5 to 10 years go by, how will I look back on this moment where I could have or didn't make the decision.
Sure.
And I knew what my life would look like. I'd get a job, I'd do this, I'd maybe go get my master's somewhere. Just, I knew what the route would be like. Yeah. And doing that other route sounded more exciting to me and sounded, you know, my gut was telling me to do it. And that's what it was. It's a scary decision, doing anything going against the grain.
Yeah.
And don't let the fear hold you back. Because generally one of the things I think about is, you know, what would it look like if I did do it? What would it look like if I didn't do it? Generally, you know which one you're going to regret.
Sure.
But then also, why am I not doing it? Is it fear? And if it is fear, then think what you're really scared of.
Yeah.
Like what's the worst case scenario?
In your case, it was a little bit actually scary, but maybe for some of the listeners, those stakes are less high.
Example,
right?
Like starting, you know, maybe quitting your job and starting a company. If you have a ton of responsibility and you have kids and you're married, stakes are much higher than what happened than what was in my situation. But part of me with like quitting commercial real estate to go and start the health coaching business, which is something I'd wanted to do for probably 15 years, the main fear was society and what other people are thinking of me and if it's going to work. Right. And once I realized that was the issue, then I was able to go and just do it and say, screw it. Right.
There's a lot of power when you actually put the spotlight on the shadows, and the shadows meaning fear. If people judge you, so what? If people see you try, so what?
Totally.
I love thinking forward to look back, that idea of what does the future me feel excited by when I look back at my life. And I don't think you'll regret taking the chance, because even if you do flop, it'll make a great story. And being realistic with what your risk tolerance is, if you have people depending on you. But I think this way of living is not just necessarily big decisions, it's micro decisions. It's speaking up in a meeting or advocating for yourself if you're, you know, a personal relationship isn't serving you anymore. It's micro decisions. So.
Yeah. And a lot of it is we're more scared of ourselves and we're more scared of negative consequences more than what will actually happen.
Sure.
Someone's scared to speak up at a work meeting and say what they think or give a counter idea, and they're scared of sounding dumb. But what happens is they look dumb by having no ideas, or they look scared, or they look weak by not saying anything and leaving this 30-minute to 1 hour meeting having given almost nothing. Whereas even if you said one thing that maybe isn't the best idea, at least you brought something up, you spoke with conviction, you're going to get some feedback, and next time it's going to improve.
Right. It's like a muscle, really.
100% a muscle.
Yeah.
And it's scientifically proven that the more hard things you do. I was on another podcast and
you're no stranger to doing hard things. You have voluntarily put yourself in the way of hard things for the last however many years. So,
it's my favorite.
And I really do want to talk about that mindset, because it sounds, using the muscle analogy, like you get stronger and maybe it gets easier.
Definitely gets easier.
Or tolerable.
It gets easier, and you also push it. So I remember I'd always wanted to do an Ironman. It was always just this back of the head thought, and I never really knew anything about Ironman. Never knew anything. I just saw some teacher in like high school that had done it. I remember back in high school, people were like, "Whoa, that's so cool! This guy did an Ironman. That's crazy! Oh my god!" And I was like, "Whoa! Like this teacher looks jacked. Everyone loves him. He's like a cool guy. He's super nice." I looked up to him. I was like, "That's awesome. I want to do that one day." But that was it. And then I remember I did a triathlon with my dad one year.
Okay.
Or saw him do a triathlon. Started training already a little bit with him in the open ocean. Had a great time doing that as a workout, just being in nature. You just feel so good.
Yeah.
Swimming in the open ocean.
Yeah.
And, you know, then I watched him do the triathlon. I was like, this is amazing. This community is addictive. I want to do a triathlon. So I signed up for one a few weeks later, did it, had the best time. And I just looked at Ironmans a year later and was like, screw it. I'm going to do it, and signed up. And for me, that's how I do a lot of these big events and challenges. I set a date, I sign up for it, and then you have to do it. And I tell everyone.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Everyone.
Wait, I want to break that down because that's actionable. So, okay, so you set the date, you pick the goal.
You sign up. You don't just pick
the date.
You sign up. You
sign
put
up.
money in. So like if I put $1,000 in an Ironman in college, like I don't have that much money.
So wait, so when was your first Ironman?
In college.
In college.
Yeah,
Okay.
senior year of college.
So $1,000 to a college student is $1,000 to anybody is a lot of money, but in college.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I had to raise like $7,000 to actually fully be in it.
Okay. Yeah. And I love that you said you tell people. So I'm thinking of listeners who are like, okay, all right, I have that idea. Now we've talked through the fear. Okay, other people feel this fear. So you have your goal, you have your date, and now you tell people.
So naturally, and I'm not like trying to pretend I'm scared of, people judging me. So you say you're going to do something and you don't do it. People are like, what? Like, why are you like blasting it and then not going to do it, not follow through? Like, you're keeping yourself accountable. So when I first decided to do the 240, I told everyone. And then, Gaza happened and I couldn't do it.
Right.
Came back and I decided to do it again. I blasted it everywhere. Because the second you start blasting it everywhere, people are like, oh, whoa, he's doing that. And then at some point they're going to ask you. And if you say, oh, no, I didn't do it. Like there's only so many times you can do that realistically in your head. Right. Like you're going to train for it.
Right.
And it's that social pressure. Like we all have peer pressure from different things.
Yeah.
Some is positive and some is negative.
Right.
So if you can create positive peer pressure, it's one of the best tools you can create, and you can use it on yourself.
So when did you learn that? Was it when you signed up for the Ironman? You were like, I'm gonna tell everybody and thereby make myself.
I think I just was telling a lot of people. I don't remember like a moment where it just clicked and that's how it's gonna happen. I think it like the realization evolved. Maybe it came from a podcast or something. I don't know. But I remember for the Ironman, I was just training and I was telling people and I was signing up for it, and people just started asking me like, "Are you doing it?" And then people would say, oh, he's actually training for an Ironman. And then they looked at you different. And I was like, he's doing an Ironman. And I'm like, I haven't done one yet.
Right.
But now I'm the Ironman guy. So you feel the pressure and you can use that in a positive sense. Same with the IDF. When I decided I was joining the IDF, they're like, he's joining the IDF. I'm like, you're such a hero. Thank you. I'm like, I haven't done anything yet. Right. Like I just said I'm joining. So it puts that extra pressure on you to do it.
I love the idea of accountability. I started doing that when I had the idea that I was going to do the podcast and it was time. And I said, okay. And I was starting
100%.
to seed it out to friends. Is there such a thing though as telling too many people where then you're opening yourself up to people's thoughts or criticism or judgment? Okay. No.
Nope.
Say no. Okay.
I don't
all
care.
right.
I would like, I'm on a podcast. I'll be like, next year I want to climb Mount Everest. And I also want to swim across the English Channel. So England to France. Like those are both public now. Everyone can hear. Who knows who's hearing? People can hold me accountable. Everest or English Channel. See which one's first.
Okay. All right.
But like, no, I don't think there's any limit to how many people you tell. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I'll shout it off the rooftops. Put it all over your Instagram. Post every day about it. Do it. Make that your ethos. The more you live it, because usually it's going to be a hard challenge. So like, you should be scared of the challenge.
Yeah.
Like when I said I'm going to do 240, 250, the longest I had done before that was 100.
Wow.
So that's like a big jump.
Right.
Like I'm questioning my ability to do that.
And to our point earlier, let's say there was a world where you couldn't finish it for whatever reason. It'd be a hell of a story. It's so much, I think, about who you become in the process of deciding you are that person.
100%. Like the training for the 240 or training for an Ironman or starting a business or whatever it is, you're growing so much in the process. And when people say, love the process, don't do it for the end result. Like someone who loves to walk is going to go farther than someone who's trying to get to a destination.
Sure.
That's 100% it. So as I'm training, I'm building discipline. Like I loved the ultra community and love it because the people you meet are very disciplined people. They love being outdoors. They love that adrenaline boost. They're generally healthy. So you're in it and you love the community. And then it becomes who you are. David Goggins, who, big hero of mine.
Oh, yeah.
He's crazy, but big hero of mine.
Crazy, but very aspirational.
Yeah. He's the reason I got into all this. He talks about something called his cookie jar. And, someone who's maybe struggling to get off the couch, the concept for them of going out and doing a 250 milers, like me going to space, like me going to the moon. Like,
I wouldn't put it past you, but right, it's too far.
It's crazy, but maybe running a 5K for someone who's barely getting off the couch is much more meaningful to them than a marathon is for me. Someone else who's struggling to get off the couch and walk 10 minutes, a 5K is crazy.
Right.
And actually in Judaism, God looks higher on the deeds that are tougher for people to do than someone who can just easily do it.
Right.
So someone who is a millionaire and donates $1,000, it's looked less upon than someone who's got $100 in his pocket but donates 70. And go and start and do something. Do something small. It's a muscle, like we talked about, to go full circle back to a few minutes. Just start doing something that's tough for you, whether it's a 5K or a 10K. Because when you do a 5K, maybe you're going to do another one. And then you're going to jump into a 10K. Then it's going to be a half marathon, then a marathon.
Right.
And then you can get there. And for me now, I've done the 250 miler, so I could keep going up. Or for me, I love stretching that muscle. And stretching that muscle at this point and flexing it is switch it to swimming. Switch it to a sport I know nothing about.
Sure.
Like, let me be a student. Let me be a novice again and have to just get deep into this new sport that I'm not as experienced in and slowly gain that confidence. So,
It's interesting because that metaphors that you were just giving, like that means so many different things to different people, like your heart or my heart or somebody else
Totally.
listening. Only you know what feels challenging for you. And it's interesting because I've spent a lot of time talking with parents. I don't have children, but I've spent a lot of time around parents. And it's interesting, even the philosophy of raising children. When you do something for your kid, you are robbing them of the opportunity of them doing it themselves. Like if, they fall, like let them pick themselves back up, because then they learned that they can do it. And it's interesting even how as adults, we have so many parallel opportunities to reach for the harder thing. And then we get to see, how do we handle that?
100%.
So anyways, we've bounced around a little, but so you decided to go to the IDF and then you came back after your service.
Came back after my service.
And then what did you do when you got back?
Traveled for a year solo, just backpacking the world. That's actually where I got my yoga certification.
So that was your health side coming back. Now you said you were
Health,
already
and it
into
was
health
also
when you
part
were-
of just like therapy. Like you go through a lot in the military, so
Sure.
having that year to just unwind and not have anything shackle you down and just rediscover who you are, because you kind of mold into whatever they need you to be. And now it's okay, let me rediscover Eli, let me find what I love again. I really got into hiking and backpacking and backcountry and that kind of stuff. I was in India, and yoga teacher training kind of put itself in front of me, and I was like, I've always wanted to get yoga certified. I'd been doing yoga since I was 13 with my mom.
Okay.
The certification was more for me to understand yoga a lot deeper.
Yeah, connected.
So that was kind of it. But I did that, came back, and then COVID had hit. I almost got stuck in Colombia, actually.
Wow. That
and
would have
then-
been an interesting
That would have been interesting.
pivot. Yeah.
So I flew back, was there trying to figure out my life. No one's taking someone with zero work experience. I didn't want to be in real estate then. I was applying to different health and environmental tech companies, to VC, that kind of stuff. But everyone was just, we're not taking.
Yeah.
Like,
COVID was also
we're like kind of we're kind of recruiting, but we're also really recruiting someone with experience because we can't train you because everyone's remote. But like, we love who you are. Just, if it was 6 months ago or 2 months ago, we would have taken you. So I was hitting that a bunch. Then I decided to maybe apply to business school because I had military and leadership background. I was a commander in the military. Started going that route. Then I was looking into different real estate and private equity and all that.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a job in real estate. Didn't really like it. Eventually left after about a year and a half. Went to a different job and then moved to Utah. So Park City, Utah, which was very much in tune with like the nature-y side, the hiking. I was getting deep into ultra marathons at that time. Loved skiing. Wanted a huge change up, and I love change ups. And let's say you got out of a long relationship and you just need to change. Move. If you left a job or some crazy stuff happened with a bunch of friends, and I don't know what, everyone's got their own story.
Right.
Changing cities is not the end of the world. You're not running. You're just
it's
starting new. It's new opportunities. It forces you out of your comfort zone. You've become comfortable seeing the same people, seeing this. Maybe certain memories are coming up. So just move. So then I started living in Utah, Park City. That's when my girlfriend was basically saying, or ex-girlfriend was saying, look, you come home, I don't know anything about anything you're doing in work, but I know all this random health knowledge that you just spew all the time, and you're so passionate about it. Why don't you just do that? It's clearly what you want to be investing your time into. And that made a realization to me, like, wow, I should do that. So started down that route, more as a side hustle. Then, boom, October 7th hit, completely changed my life, put everything on pause, told my clients, I gotta go, told my job and my work, I gotta go. and flew to Israel. By the 9th, I was in uniform.
Wow.
And spent the next 4 or 5 months fighting in the war.
Reserve
Yeah, so I was a
soldier.
reservist. When you finish the IDF, your main service, 3.5 years, you are, especially if you're combat, you're a reservist until the age of 40 or 42.
Okay.
So I was with my team. My team had gotten called up, and I saw the text messages right away in the morning. I booked a flight to Israel and was gone a couple days later. For me, it wasn't whether I'm going, it was how fast can I get there.
Right, yeah.
It was not a thought. I don't care what my parents say. They were telling me, you've already served enough, you've already helped enough. I said, look, this isn't your decision.
Right.
I'm going.
I'm sure there were plenty of people thinking, oh, you can do things on the ground here. You could have your organization.
Totally.
You could raise
Same
money,
thing.
awareness.
Absolutely. Not even a chance, not even a question.
Yeah.
We can either fight about this, or you can just support me. I'm going, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
My dear mom, gone through a lot. But
I mean, but the theme there and what you're saying is sometimes your loved ones are your biggest. I mean, they can be your biggest supporters, and they can sometimes be your biggest blocks because they love you and they have a vision of what happiness looks like, and it may be different from your own.
And you need to be able to hone in on what's your vision and do what you want to do. And if your loved ones loved you, which mine do, the second you do that, and the second you commit, and the second you go on that route, they're going to support you.
Right.
So when I made my first decision to go to the military, my mom pushed back because she loved me and she wanted the best for me, and she saw that differently. But the second I said, this is what I'm doing, and I was in the Army, she was fully on my side, her and my dad and my whole family, fully on my side, super proud of me, bragging. Same thing with October 7th. My brother had raised $100,000 for equipment for my unit.
Wow.
They were fully on my side, even if they were really trying to argue against you. And sometimes they're scared for you, but you have to look in the mirror, you have to look at them and decide what you want to do. How do you want to live your life? Right. That's how I want to think about things.
And for anybody listening who is experiencing any feelings of like being stuck, I think it's pretty amazing how many people can go through life and not realize that they're living somebody else's dream, or they're living somebody else's vision of happiness or success or whatever it may be. And it's not their story.
100%. It sounds so corny, but like, it's your life and you got to live it how you want.
Yeah. So then off you went. And at that point, when you were in Park City, you already had started your health coaching?
So I'd started my health coaching. It was more geared towards performance. So helping people train for Ironman, marathons, ultra marathons. And then, I was helping a few clients, not enough to support myself, but I had a job. Then I was in the Army. Then I went to the war. And I remember a few moments, but one in particular, my whole team thought we were going to die. And we get home that night and everyone's giving each other hugs. Like, we are alive. We're all here. We are all unharmed. Thank God. The next day we woke up so grateful that we're here, because we were scared. We were like, we fully looked death in the face that night, that whole day prior. And it was one of the scariest moments of my life. But I remember thinking back on my life, what did I regret? What did I not regret? So I had this moment of like, think you're going to die. How do you reassess, and what do you change in your life, and what do you regret, and like, what would you do differently? And I just realized I was spending hours a day on something I didn't care about or love. I wasn't giving it my all because it wasn't who I was. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't anything. I was living in fear, and I wasn't living a life of purpose. And I'm not saying everyone needs to do the job that is of purpose, because there's a lot of jobs that aren't purposeful, but you find the purpose in what you do. I had the privilege and the opportunity, and I don't have any kids or anything, that I could make a full change in my life. But that was the moment. I mean, I was in Gaza, and I basically said, I know I'm doing this side hustle and I'm maybe waiting and this and that, but I can't keep living this way. I need to get back. I need to quit. I need to change my job. I need to just go full on into the health coaching and fully just commit myself, send it 100%, and then it'll work out. And then if it doesn't, you can always change. You can always pivot. I can always go back to real estate. I can always find something else. Like, nothing is permanent. And we're so scared that these decisions are going to like ruin everything.
Why do you think it is, now that you're doing coaching too, like, why do you think it is that people are so afraid of making changes?
Our mind is our biggest enemy, and like, in a very relatable sense for most people. It's kind of like you want to have a hard conversation with someone. Maybe you're a little bit uneasy about what your girlfriend or boyfriend had said, or a friend, or whatever it is, and you have a kind of a hard conversation. and you are just thinking so many bad things can happen. You're thinking that they're judging you and that they're thinking that and they're thinking that. And then you go and you just bring up the conversation and you're like, wait, I was tripping. They're actually thinking the same thing I am. Right. And it's not nearly as bad. And that's 99 times out of 100.
So we awfulize.
Yeah. So we that's a great way to put it. We awfulize.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing is we awfulize a lot of decisions that we make and we're scared of it. Go and quit your job. You're like, I'm never going to make money and I'm going to be a failure and everyone's going to laugh at me and everyone's going to be this.
I'm over.
And it's the end. And it's like, actually, people are going to respect you. It's probably going to work out. You're going to love it more. And if it doesn't, who cares? You're going to learn a lot in the process. Mm-hmm. So even if your business is a failure, what you learned in that year starting your business is so valuable and you'll use that in other things. Yeah. So nothing is like a zero sum.
Yeah.
But yeah, we awfulize. I like that.
That's okay. So now we're present day. How do we feel? We're on the other side of all these big steps. I was going to ask who inspires you, but since you said David Goggins, and David Goggins is like all the way here on the spectrum, he's crazy. Are there who are the other people that influence you that keep you committed to this path of progress?
In terms of the physical stuff, David Goggins definitely gets your head. There's a lot of other people who you'll see on, who you follow on social media also matters. Like who the algorithm's sending to you. Like if I keep seeing friends doing crazy, crazy things, it's going to make me want to do it.
Sure.
And someone who's doing it and doubting it, like I said, start small. But there's a lot of people on social media that I think inspire me and keep challenging me to push more. But, that's just in terms of physical stuff. But in business, there's a lot of people you look at, Alex Hormozy, or I have friends who I know that have started companies and, we were in the same grade at Harvard Westlake or at Harvard Westlake, let's say in high school or in college. So they don't have too different of a life than I do.
Sure.
Why can they do it and not me? And then that's where you have to think, where's your own confidence level? Think of it as a challenge. And do they have a lot more of experience? Have they added a lot of cookies in their cookie jar? Maybe it's a business cookie jar, maybe it's a relationship cookie jar if they're having a really stable relationship, because that's where they've invested over time. Sure. And my jar is filled with crazy physical events, but maybe in other stuff it's not there. So I have to build my jar in business now. And that's kind of like where my focus has been, is less on, right in the last few months, it's been not training for crazy stuff. It's really been focusing on my business because that's where I want my energy. Your new hard. Yeah. That's like my new heart. It's like, okay, I know I can do these things, but like, can I make $1 million or can I do this? You're not doing it for the money, but I want more stability in my life, maybe financially. I want to find a meaningful relationship. So that's where I'm investing my time. And I have less cookies in those cookie jars because I've not committed it. So everyone has to look at where they're investing it. And if they're scared of something, most likely you haven't put the time into it in those areas. And that's why you're bad at it. And it's just repetitions. I've run thousands of miles. That's why I'm a good runner. That's it. So I have friends that reach out to me. They're like, dude, I went to the gym today at 5 a.m. and I thought, like, you're the reason I went to the gym.
That's great.
I get a text probably once a week from someone different that's like, I did this because of you. And it makes my day. I'm like, sick. Okay, something about my posts on social media is working.
And I also am curious how your relationship with sharing yourself on social media has evolved, because I've been following your journey and all the incredible work and advocacy that you've been doing around the war and health and motivation for a long time. But you posted a video that specifically called out how your life changed when you started caring less about people's judgment. And I really connected with that because that's something I've struggled with. So what role is social media playing now as you continue to share more of yourself?
Yeah. For me, it's a tool to express myself, and I'm ever changing. And then I was like, I can just tell my story and what I'm doing and learning from and learning through and how I'm progressing as a human. And if that resonates with people, great. If it doesn't and they're annoyed by me and they want to unfollow me, then great. But like and I think you had told me when we talked a little bit ago, but if everybody loves you, then you're probably not doing anything remarkable. If half the people love you, half the people hate you, great. Like I'm not gonna
for someone you're for if you're for everyone you're for no one.
There we go. Perfect. So it's like it's the same thing. I was like, I'm just gonna tell my story and what I think. Is it really scary sometimes when I press like the post button and you have to reread it a bunch of times? Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I'm living my life for me, and I want to post and make a difference and change and inspire people, and I want to help people. So if I use my platform to do the two things that are most important for me, which is help people live healthier, more meaningful lives, get through limiting beliefs with mindset, amazing. If my posts can contribute to that, help them with nutrition education or fitness education,
Right.
or breaking through mindsets. If my posts can help them with that, amazing. If it can help stop anti-Semitism and help Israel, amazing. And that's literally all I post.
Yeah.
Like if you follow me, that's all you're going to see.
Right.
And that's who I am. And like once I connected with that, that's what I want to keep emanating.
Sure.
And use social media for that. Use it as a huge microphone. And I've done amazing things with social media. One highlight to it is when the fires started.
I was just going to say your work around the fires.
Yeah,
Talk about
when
that.
the fires started, the fires in LA, they started Tuesday. I remember going back, seeing a friend who had been evacuated from his home, and we thought his home had burned down at the time. And I was like, wow, this is really hitting my immediate community. What can I do? I can't go and fight the fires myself as much as I wanted to do that as like the soldier in me. But what can I do to help? I remembered as a soldier, people would deliver us food and goodies and whatever it is. And that just, even if we needed it or didn't need it, we loved the thought and that people wanted to help and were thinking about us and the support. So I said, I'm going to go put $100 on my card at like Ralph's, bought a bunch of stuff that I knew as a soldier I'd want and thought that maybe firefighters would need, delivered it to my local station, said thank you, posted it all on social media. What happened from that? When I did post it, I posted my Venmo and said, if everyone wants to do that, if anyone wants to help me, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. $1,000, I wake up the next morning in my Venmo account. So I do the same thing and I post it again.
Yeah.
Next morning, we had like 5 to 10 grand in 2 different accounts at this point. What happened after that? We had a sports company, Sports Research, donate 30,000 packets of electrolytes for firefighters because I posted that we need electrolytes for the firefighters. So social media blasted this thing everywhere. And I went from spending $100 of my own money to raising $100,000 of goods.
Imagine
and I would not have that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have social media and if I wasn't posting it.
Yeah, I remember being here in New York and seeing what you were doing and sharing that and talking about it and raising awareness. And like you said, it's a microphone.
And I think the more vulnerable I've been on social media, the more love I get. And I remember I did the crying post with the hostages, and I've seen people, and that was super emotional for me. And I've seen people, I even had someone say, like, why are you posting yourself crying? Like, keep that to yourself or something like that. And I'm like, and in general, other than that, and you have to have a little bit of just, I guess, the strength to like put those aside. Because for every one of those, you have to care less. Because for every one of those, there's a million people that are supporting me and being super positive and going into my DMs and calling me and texting me and just being with me.
And it's for them.
And you care less about that small percent that is going to talk negative. And what actually happens is you have 100 times more love than you ever thought you were going to receive.
Yeah. Well, the naysayers, those are your challenges, right? You have a chance to either let that stop you or use that as fuel to keep going.
Totally.
So it seems like you continue to make the right call.
I try. And a lot of times I make the wrong call. And whatever, you learn from it.
I want to ask you a question that you kind of touched on as we start to wrap up. So when I was envisioning starting this and what it was going to look like, and I was feeling really stuck, I envisioned an 80-year-old version of myself, like a little grandma sitting and sort of giving me advice, like sitting next to me on the couch, and what would she say? If your 80-year-old self was sitting next to you, what do you think he would say to you about this next chapter of your life?
Damn, that's a hard one. I think about that in a sense, what's like going to be the story that I tell about myself? And I always want to live like that life of adventure and doing awesome things. Because, I mean, my grandpa, when I remember sitting down and hearing his stories about the escapes and everything he went through, it was like, wow, he is a hero. So I want my 80-year-old self to pretty much have told me, like, keep doing the things that everyone is going to doubt. If people are doubting you, if you're doubting yourself that you can do it, if people are saying don't do it, generally it's what you should do. Because it's so against the grain. Everyone's telling you not to. And again, take that within reason, right?
That means different things to different people.
Yeah. I'm not trying to encourage everyone to do these like crazy outlandish things that are completely irresponsible. But if it's scaring you,
Pay attention.
pay attention and
Yeah.
realize why. Is it a good fear or is it a limiting belief fear?
Right.
Keep doing things like that and think 10, 15 years down the line, 100 years down the line, whatever it is that is going to be the better story. And not necessarily the better story because you want everyone to think you're the coolest person, but just that you're going to be proud of.
Yeah. And it's and I like how you said that if you're afraid, maybe that's what you should be doing. But
100%.
But that could also be an opportunity to better understand what fear is there, what's hiding there, and
dig into the fear.
Yeah.
Why are you scared?
And then maybe you'll make a different decision depending what it is, But everyone has an opportunity to look their fear in the eye and realize that it could be a symbol for their next great adventure.
100%.
Okay, so you're going to climb Everest next year,
Yep.
and then we're going to have you back after to talk about Everest.
And swim the English Channel.
Or maybe both.
Well, they're both happening. It depends when.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if there's any brands out here that want to sponsor
Anyone wants
Eli's
to sponsor my Everest climb
journey,
or swimming the English Channel,
yes, reach
out to me.
Yes, this is your sign. And how can people get in touch with you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Eli Wining. So like you're winning a race, ELI winning.
Okay, and I will link that in our show notes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is amazing.
Like, I feel like I want to go do something really inspiring, encouraging right now. I don't know what that is. So stay tuned, I guess, for the next episode to hear what it is.
100%.
But it was so great to chat with you.
You too.
And thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next episode of Care Less with Carly.
Do it.
Thanks for tuning in to Care Less with Carly. If this episode resonated with you or reminded you to stop living by someone else's rules, I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, leaving a quick review means the world and helps more people find the show. If there's a guest you'd love to hear from, DM me their name at Care Less with Carly on Instagram or drop me a comment. I'm always looking for powerful, honest voices to bring into this space. Until next time, you got this. Keep caring less about what others think and more about what makes you come alive.